I am friends with two other women, Kristi and Amy, that I went to high school with. We all have kids that were born within a week of each other who are all 7, and we were lucky to all start off as stay-at-home moms. Not long after the kids turned 1, I found out my SO had been cheating for almost 2 years. I left him and started life as a single mom. This included going back to work. Kristi helped me out with babysitting until I could get back on my feet. Amy said she wouldn't help me because if my SO was cheating, I should have been a better wife and cared about his needs more. I remained friends with her, but I distanced myself. 2 years later, I met my current husband. 2 years after that, we got married and we decided I would be a stay-at-home mom again and homeschool my son and our baby. Things have been great and we live a comfortable life. 6 months ago, the worst happened to Amy. Her husband died and not long after, she found out her husband had been cheating their entire marriage. She was devastated and Kristi and I tried to be there for her as much as possible. About a month ago, she realized her money was running out, that she would have to find a job. Kristi told her she wouldn't be able to help with babysitting much because she had went back to work and she has her hands full with her autistic son. Amy started begging me to babysit. Here's where I think I'm the idiot. I told her I wasn't comfortable watching her kids. When she started pushing me for a reason, I told her she refused to be there for me when I needed help, and while I have been helping her for the past 6 months with everything, I wasn't going to continue. She started calling me the idiot, saying that she couldn't believe how petty I was being and she really understands why my ex cheated on me. I told her maybe, if you had been a better wife then you wouldn't need help, and I've refused to talk to her since. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is a classic case of you reap what you sow. Amy's words and actions are coming back to her. These problems are hers to figure out, not yours. Even worse, when you called her out on what she said, she doubled down. Amy is no friend. I would not only not babysit for her, but I'd also extricate her from my life. With friends like Amy, who needs enemies? Everyone's the idiot here. Did you need to bring yourself down to her level? Amy's an idiot for sure. Your ex cheated, your marriage imploded, and she kicked you when you were down. You're an idiot because you know how hard it is to learn that info, plus she's grieving for a man she thought she knew and having to deal with everything she thought being turned on its head, plus trying to figure out how to raise her kids without their father. And yet you decided to kick her back while she's at her lowest. What Amy said to you all those years ago was pretty unforgivable, and you should have ended the friendship there as you knew then she was not your friend, nor someone you needed in your life. However, you kept her in your life, and when her husband died you did a lot for her over the course of 6 months that a friend would do. Knowing her husband also cheated and understanding the pain of that, and knowing what it's like needing friends when you're feeling so vulnerable, you decided now was the time to rub salt in the wound. There was no need as karma had already done enough to this woman. So you both have been equally horrible to each other now. My 20 brother, 24, has been on and off with his girlfriend, 27, for a couple of years now. It's been the same song and dance, they're happy for a few weeks, then something small happens, they argue, it gets really nasty, and they make up and back to a loving couple. When I learned my brother got kicked out of his apartment and needed a place to stay, I offered him the extra room in my apartment, and my brother agreed to parent, help with bills, and pitch in with food. For 3 months now, she's been announcing she's pregnant. She alone will eat a snack box with 50 small bags of chips in a week. I tried to reason with her and get her to cut back, not only from overeating, but she was running us low on food, but she insists she and the baby are healthy, and it's just cravings, etc. Since last month, most of what my parents sends to my house, my mom is a couponer, so she bulk shops and give away what she has too much of. My brother's girlfriend is the first to get into it, and a large portion of it is gone by a few days to a week. From a 24 case of Monster, the energy drink, if you're not familiar, 8 will be gone in a week from just her. She eats a hell of a lot of food too, most of which no pregnant woman should be consuming so much of, and yes, I know all pregnancies are different, but words can't explain how much she eats in one sitting. So, today I had seen her drinking coffee, and after her second cup I asked her if she should be drinking so much, and she said her doctor told her it was fine, and she had no worries. When I suggested she take on a healthier diet for the baby, she just scoffed and walked out. I went and asked my brother if he's been to any of her doctor appointments or even seen a positive pregnancy test, and he said he didn't. I confronted her about it and she said she didn't have to prove anything and started to get defensive. I told her she needed to show a test or some proof of going to the doctor or she needs to move out as she doesn't help at all. My brother started defending her and changed his answer from not seeing any proof to seeing her pregnancy test. My parents got word of what I said and my mom says I was in no place to say anything and every woman's body is different and I wouldn't know since I've never been pregnant. Am I the idiot? I don't necessarily think pregnancy is the issue. The issue is that she is living and eating in your home rent-free. The pregnancy is kind of none of your business, but because she lives in your home it was made your business and now you have questions. I think you should address the facts as known. 1. She is living rent-free and that needs to change, and 2. She is eating stuff without replacing or paying for them. Focus on those two issues and let your brother handle the non-pregnancy. She isn't financially helping you out, she's eating all of your food and she's consuming too much caffeine for that to be healthy for this baby. I agree, she needs to show a positive pregnancy test or 3 to prove that she is actually pregnant and not scamming you and your brother. And possibly a paternity test as well to make sure it's your brother's child. Pregnant or not, she's eating more than her shared portion of the food in your apartment. Sounds greedy, and she never asked to help pitch in. I know the brother is pitching in, but I feel like girlfriend should also be contributing since OP feels like she's eating too much of their food. Also, there's no need for proof of pregnancy. Just set a rule and boundary with your food, label it, stick a post-it on the fridge saying that you labeled your food, etc. My fiancé, Justin, 25, and I, 24, are getting married soon. We have been together for about 4 years. 2 years ago Justin was diagnosed with cancer. It had spread and he had to do chemo. Right now he is completely healthy and happy, but at the time it was really hard. We had just moved in together and money was tight as well. So we had to move to a studio apartment just so we could afford his treatments. We've been through a lot and so I borrowed money from my family for his care as well. We paid it all back and more though because now we're pretty well off. The first thing I did after hearing about his diagnosis was call my family. I was really close with them. We would see each other a lot and I loved them. My sister, Maddie, is 22 now. Back then she was 20. I called her over and told her about what happened. She told me to just stay strong, that the whole family would be there for us, and I appreciated that Justin was with us at the time. The next day though when I went over alone and she said she wanted to talk to me. She said that Justin wasn't worth wasting my life over since I was young, 22 when he got cancer, and that I should break up with him. I was shocked to say the least and my parents were on my side. I explained how I loved Justin and Maddie still wasn't budging. She texted Justin herself and told him even though you're a nice guy, she deserves someone healthy and I lost it. This made him feel so guilty and it took a lot of time for me to get him to realize that he was worth it. I cut off all contact, except for a few occasions when my dad was sick. She was still in my life I guess, but I didn't have any direct contact, and neither did Justin. It's been 2 years since this, and I just couldn't bring myself to invite her. But now my family, my parents and cousins, are calling me an idiot for excluding her and her alone. They told me that, if Maddie is not invited they wouldn't show up as well, and that I owe them this, since they helped me out with Justin's bills. They said I should grow up and that Maddie was just concerned about me. Even Justin told me maybe I should forgive her and invite her since it's important to my parents, but that it was up to me. It is true that she was young when she said what she did, but it was still cruel of her in my opinion. But she apologized a lot over the last 6 months. I'm lost on what to do because everyone around me seems to think I'm being a jerk, but I'm not sure. So please help me figure out if I am the idiot. Not the idiot. Despite the pressure your family may be putting on you, it's up to you on whether you want to repair that relationship or even invite her to your wedding. Keyword is your, not their. The worst part is the guilt trip they're laying on you, as if the money they lent you both was conditional. I think there will be consequences if you stick to your guns, but you're not the idiot if you do. Also, curious why your sister wants to come to your wedding when she was so adamant before that you deserved someone healthy and thought you were wasting your life on Justin. Not the idiot. Being related to someone doesn't mean they get a free pass at being an idiot. It's your wedding. You get to decide who you want there. If having your sister there will upset and stress you, don't invite her. If in the future you want to try to mend your relationship, then do so. Not at your wedding. If any family is trying to talk you into it, politely end the conversation. Thank you for your opinion. However, it's my wedding and Justin and I will decide who to invite. Please stop talking about this. Not the idiot. First, Maddie wasn't that young, and when did she start apologizing? 6 months ago. I assume when she realized she wouldn't be invited to the wedding. Your parents are also excusing this, and it's frankly disgusting of them to tell you to grow up when you have done nothing wrong. You certainly don't have to forgive her for anything just to keep the family peace. However, if you want your family at the wedding, perhaps consider group therapy to discuss the situation. If I were you, I would sit down and think about if I want any of them there at all. I, 34, and my husband, 35, are expecting our first child together. We are very excited and told everyone over the weekend about us expecting. The one thing that I am concerned about is my mother-in-law. My husband grew up as an only child, and a few other family members warned me when we first started dating that he was very close to his mother. I did not think any of it until we bought our townhouse, and I would be coming home from work to see her cleaning, doing laundry, and cooking. She would come over at least 3-5 times a week and help out around the house. We would fight a lot about it because when I would do cooking, she would come over the next day and tell me what I am doing wrong. We went to couples counseling after we had been together over 2 years. He did talk to her about not coming over so much, and she did blame me for trying to ruin her relationship with her son. Father-in-law and I get along very well. Since finding out I am pregnant, mother-in-law has been over constantly checking in and seeing if there was anything I need. I told her no and that I was doing perfectly fine. She had us over for dinner and announced that they would like to move in with us and help take care of the baby. Husband and I glanced at one another, and he told mother-in-law that he did not think it was a good idea. Mother-in-law looked at husband and frowned at his response. She then asked if I was manipulating husband's decision. I looked shocked and told her no, it was a decision that we made together. We do not want you to move in with us. She started yelling at me. Father-in-law got involved and told husband it's best if we left. We did leave quickly and we got into a small argument in the car and did not speak the rest of the way home. Mother-in-law is telling other family members a different story, and I am receiving messages on social media and through text calling me a horrible daughter-in-law. Am I the idiot for not letting my mother-in-law and father-in-law move in? Not the idiot. Mother-in-law already walks all over both of you. She definitely shouldn't move in, and you shouldn't let her be a primary caregiver for your child. In fact, the two of you need to set better boundaries immediately. Change the locks on your house so mother-in-law can't come over without an invitation. And consider putting up cameras around your house. Also, put this woman on an informative diet. She shouldn't know your exact due date, your doctor's name, your baby's planned name, or any other details of your pregnancy or personal lives. You need to set boundaries now. Husband and you need to make an agreement how often you are okay with people visiting, how soon you're comfortable with babysitting, who's welcome at the birth in the hospital. Your mother-in-law will only get 10 times worse when you have your baby, and for your marriage, you need to come to an agreement on what's acceptable. It's easier to have stricter boundaries that you can loosen because mother-in-law will push down any flimsy boundaries and change your locks. You have the right to your own space. If mother-in-law can prove she won't enter your home without your permission, just maybe she could have keys, but a big no until then. Not the idiot. Our parents both have the ability to get into our house. For emergencies. Never once has my mom or mother-in-law come over unannounced or while no one was home. It's used for rare cases of hey, we are stuck somewhere, can you please feed the cats, or if they're watching the cats, well we are out of town. And I would say we have an excellent relationship with both sets of parents. We're about to remodel our only bathroom and agreed we would just stay with our respective parents cause neither of us want to live with in-laws, so no, you are not the idiot for not wanting this. And I mean, when does it end? When kid goes to school. When kid is in high school. Once they're in, good luck in getting them out. Keep firm. I cannot believe they think this is reasonable. My 18-year-old cousin Aria asked me to buy her a pregnancy test and let her take it at my house because her parents are very religious and have a zero-tolerance policy for premarital pregnancy. She made me promise not to tell anyone because if this got back to her parents, it could end badly for her. She took the test at my house and it was positive. Later that day, my husband saw the test in the bathroom. Arya said she had hidden it in the bin, but clearly, she didn't hide it well enough because he saw it. He automatically assumed it was mine and asked me why I hadn't told him. He was telling me how excited he was and was getting very emotional. I told him it wasn't mine, so he asked me whose it was. Arya specifically told me not to tell anyone, including my husband, so I told him I couldn't tell him. He assumed I was lying and got very upset with me. He started asking me questions about if I didn't want to keep our baby. When I kept insisting it wasn't mine, he told me if I told him whose it was, he would believe me, but otherwise he would assume that I'm lying to him and I didn't want the baby, but didn't trust him enough to admit that. This caused a lot of tension between us for a while. Recently, it came out that Arya was pregnant and my husband put 2 and 2 together. Now he's mad at me again for not trusting him with this information and letting him go through the emotional turmoil of thinking I got rid of our baby. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're not an idiot for not telling him you made an important promise to someone else. However, could you have made that more clear to him? Or explained, I can't tell you yet because she's not ready for anyone to know, but I'll tell you as soon as I get the all clear. I think your husband is an idiot for not trusting you though. Jumping straight to your lying and aborting our child is a major red flag in my book, as is trying to manipulate you into revealing information that frankly isn't his business. You're the idiot. There were several ways to handle this, and you chose the one that left the most up for misinterpretation. You could have told him in advance that someone was taking a test at your house. You could have specifically said, my friend, associate, mystery person doesn't want anyone to know so took it here, and I have to respect their privacy. By saying it's not mine with no further explanation, you set the stage for him to fill in the gaps. Better, clearer communication would have avoided most of this. Everyone's the idiot here. Arya should have taken the test with her and should have never put you in the position where you need to lie to your husband or omit the truth. Your husband should have trusted you. He's a bit of an idiot, but a child is a life-changing event and I know the feelings he's having. You, when the test was found, should have come clean. Well, you promised not to tell. Arya's failure to hide the test gave that up. You should have told him.